So let's see about the DNA replication, right? So my voice is coming low, is it? लैट तो ठीक है थोड़ा बहुत आने के चांसेस है लेकिन is it low because my diagonal chord only got stuck in my mic. Lag नहीं आना चाहिए. I don't think there should be any lag issue. I go like this when I speak it to you. Then probably it will be better. Is it fine now? Is it fine now? नहीं सुनाई दे रहा. I'll remove the chords and I'll speak. That will be a better option. Now is it fine? Now is it fine? It's okay now. So that's a. अभी भी low आ रहा है. वो ना मेरा chord actually टूट गया. Little better now. Okay. So it's okay. Okay, fine. So I'll speak loudly, of course. So we were talking about the DNA and screen is lagging. That's okay. That will take some time. Let's see. So we were talking about the DNA replication basically, and today we're going to go ahead with the packaging of DNA. So how the packaging is going to be is something like the total DNA is around 2.2 meters long, and this 2.2 meters long has to be packaged within the cell, and inside the cell's nucleus to be very specific, right? So it's going to be like a task for packaging this लॉन्ग डीएनए 2.2 मीटर्स का मतलब अपना जो दुपट्टा होता है ना एक दुपट्टा के लेंथ के जितना डीएनए का साइज है एक न्यूक्लियस के अंदर. So don't you think it's going to be really very like long as a thread, and it needs to be packaged inside the such a small structure, not only the cell but cell के अंदर का nucleus. Okay, so how is that done? How is this possible? Is something what we want to talk about. Let us start the sharing. Things have been already done. Yeah. So here we come to the packaging of DNA basically. So taken the distance between two consecutive base pairs, which is 0.34 nanometers, which we have already done in the previous lectures. You remember the DNA ka strand is going to be how much long? So it's 0.34 nanometers base pair ka distance, and the total distance is 3.4. Correct? 0.34 into 10 raised to 9 meters. If the length of DNA double helix is in a typical mammalian cell is calculated simply by multiplying total number of base pairs. How are we going to do? Total number of base pairs multiplied by what? See, simply multiply the total number of base pairs with the distance between two consecutive base pairs. So that will come to around what? 6.6 into 10 raised to 9. Right, base pairs are going to be present, multiplied by 0.34 into 10 raised to 9 meters per base pairs. So when we work out it, the value comes to approximately 2.2 meters. So the length of the DNA is around 2.2 meters. It's 2.2 meters in one cell nucleus. Understand this? We are multinucleated. We are multinucleated. We only don't know how many, cells are going to be present. Multicellular. We've got so many, like each cell, one nuclei. So many nuclei are present in our, each and every tissues and organs. And that much, every cell of it is going to have 2.2 meters of DNA. Got it? So it's such a long thread. See. a length that is far greater than the dimensions of a typical nucleus. The nucleus is around 10 raised to minus 6 meters, while the length of the DNA is 2.2 meters. Correct? In prokaryotes such as E. coli, though they do not have a defined nucleus, the DNA is not scattered throughout the cell. We know that it is going to be attached. Now, it is attached. Where is it attached? Where is it attached? We all remember cell unit of life. Where is the prokaryotic DNA going to be attached? Come on, can anyone tell me? किसको अटैच होता है? एक स्ट्रक्चर मैंने आपको बताया था सेल यूनिट ऑफ लाइफ में. नो, नॉट क्रिस्टे, नॉट प्लाज्मिड. Where is it going to be attached? In prokaryotic DNA, where is the bacterial chromosome attached? Very good. Who is this? Shruti, you're right. Shruti Masti, you're right, beta. Others, come on. Just try to recollect those things from your mind. In cell unit of life, in biological classification also, I had repeated this. Bolo. Only Shruti has answered correctly. Who else would answer this? Come on, others. Good morning, sabka. Jaldi, jaldi, fatafat. Tell me the answer. I had told you that the bacterial chromosome is going to be attached to a particular point which is called as. No one? That's really bad. चलो आंसर्स दे दो नीचे इधर मुझे चैट बॉक्स में देख रही हूँ किसी के भी आंसर्स नहीं है सिर्फ श्रुति ने एक आंसर दिया है जो सही आंसर है कम ऑन माय डियर्स we have done this in biological classification recently bacterial chromosome is attached to मैंने आपको उसके दो नो बैक्टीरिया में सेंट्रोमियर कहाँ आएगा बेटा centromere is not a part of bacteria it does not have any cell organelle Ashita, you're right, but that particular structure is called as a peculiar name is given to it. You're right, actually. The content-wise, you're right, my dear, but there's a peculiar name given to it. Come on, others, try to answer this, बेटा. ये अभी हमने अभी फिलहाल में कराया है और मैंने आपको डिटेल में कराया है ये. हाँ, yes, Priyanka. Yes. Priyanka is right. Arya, you're very close to the answer. You're very close to the answer. What is it? No, it's not. It's not Fimbriae. It's not Fimbriae. It's something called as septal mesosome. If you all can recollect, septal mesosomes. Have you all heard about this? Septal mesosomes. So we have septal mesosome and we have got peripheral mesosomes, right? So that septal mesosome was getting attached with the centromere, genophore, bacterial DNA, whatever. I had given so many names to it. Incipient nucleus. याद है ये सारे मैंने नाम आपको बताए थे. So all these are going to be attached, like this, whatever, that DNA is going to be attached to whom? The septal mesosome. Only 2-3 answers were correct. Okay, so the septal mesosome is going to be the one which is going to connect the bacterial DNA, right? And I told you that the septal mesosome is going to undergo cell division, or rather is going to duplicate for the division of the DNA, bacterial DNA. You recollect this, right? Please go through it. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay, so I was talking about the septal mesosome. That is going to be, again, this particular problem is arising. Just 1 second, beta. Let me take care of this problem. Yeah, okay. Well, so that is what they are saying, that the DNA is not going to be scattered in case of the bacterial cell. Rather, it's going to be attached to the septal mesosome. I told you there is something called a septal mesosome and peripheral mesosome, right? So septal mesosome was associated with the division of the chromosomes during the replication. That is binary fission, in fact. And the peripheral mesosomes are associated with storing of enzymes, correct? No, but septal are not attached to the plasmids. Septals are attached with the bacterial chromosome. Plasmids are free. Plasmids are not going to be attached to anyone. Okay? They are extra chromosomal, double-stranded, circular structures lying free in the cytoplasm of the bacterial cell. They aren't attached to anyone. The attachment of the septal mesosome is going to be with the bacterial chromosome. Okay? I hope you all are recollecting those, and if not, please study, but start studying, please. Okay, so in prokaryotes such as E. coli, though they do not have a defined nucleus, the DNA is not scattered throughout the cell. It is attached to the septal mesosome. DNA being negatively charged is going to help the certain proteins which are going to have a positive charge in the region termed as nucleoid. The DNA in nucleoid is organized in large loops held by proteins, is what they are saying. Okay, so that is the packaging of prokaryotic cell. So prokaryotic cell में इतना तकलीफ है नहीं to package the DNA, right? Where is the problem? The problem is with eukaryotes. So look at our cell complexity. In eukaryotes, this organization is much more complex. There is a set of positively charged basic proteins called as histones. So they are going to, these histone proteins are going to have positive charge on their side chains due to two amino acids, that is lysine and arginine. So we'll talk about it. A protein acquires a charge, that is, this histone is going to have a positive charge. How it has acquired a positive charge? See, so a protein acquires a charge depending upon the appendance of amino acid residues with charged side chains. So it should have abundance of amino acids on the sides, and the side chains are going to have a particular charge. And whatever charge will be there on the side chains, the same charge will be held by the protein. Okay, so histones are rich in basic amino acids, that is lysine and arginine. Both the amino acid residues carry positive charges in their side chain. Histones are organized to form a unit of 8 molecules, which is called as histone octamer. I guess these things I had already explained to you all in one of the chapters. I don't remember which chapter. I think the cell unit of life में मैंने explain किया था कि ऐसे कुछ तो histone proteins होते हैं. हाँ, yeah. So you know this about. Okay? So it's what we call as a histone octamer. Now in this particular diagram over here, you can easily see the histone octamer. Just show you, take my chat box here. Yeah. So you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. या फिर यहाँ पर देखिएगा, यहाँ पर भी आपको 8 अच्छी तरह से दिखाई दे रहे हैं. So there are 8 histone proteins which are going to be coming together to form a larger aggregation, which is called as a octamer, right? The negatively charged DNA is wrapped around the positively charged histone octamer to form a structure called as nucleosome. So here you can very well see this is a nucleosome. So this is going to be your histone octamer, and just look at the way it has, just spoiled over the histone octamer. This double helical structure is going to be of the DNA. So we already saw that how the DNA replicated. Now that replicated DNA needs to be packaged. So before, like in the event of packaging, it's first going to get coiled around the histone octamer, correct? And this composite structure will be called as a nucleosome. Okay, this is will be the nucleosome. A typical nucleosome contains 200 base pairs of DNA helix. So it's going to have 154 on the octamer and 46 over here. Can you see this linker DNA? है ना? तो 154 इसके ऊपर है और 46 इधर है. ऐसे 200 बेस पेयर्स होते हैं. ठीक है? The nucleosome constitutes the repeating unit of a structure in the nucleus, which is called as chromatin. So these will eventually form your chromatin. Okay, the chromatin will appear like a stained thread-like structure inside the nucleus. Because it can be stained, इसलिए उसको chromatin दिया है. Chroma means color, tin means thread, colored threads, right? The nucleosome and chromatin are seen as beads on string structure when viewed under electron microscope. तो जब भी हम इसको इलेक्ट्रॉन माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे देखते हैं ना, तो यू कैन एक्चुअली सी लाइक एक माला के जैसा है, गार्लैंड के जैसा दिखाई देगा बेटा, बीड्स ऑन स्ट्रिंग के जैसा दिखाई देगा वो, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट इज क्रोमैटिन मटेरियल. ओके, सो हियर यू कैन सी दिस बीड्स ऑन स्ट्रिंग. ये देखो, हाउ डज इट अपीयर लाइक बीड्स ऑन स्ट्रिंग, राइट? दिस इज द बीड्स ऑन स्ट्रिंग अपीयरेंस. Okay, then the beads on string structure in chromatin is packaged to form chromatin fibers that further get coiled and condensed at metaphase stage of the cell division to form chromosomes. So that is the reason we say that metaphase is the ideal phase to study the number of chromosomes and their structure. Correct? सेल साइकिल सेल डिवीजन चैप्टर में मैंने ये आपको ऑलरेडी पढ़ाया हुआ था कि विच इज द राइट फेज टू check for the chromosome structure and the chromosome number. So why it was metaphase? Because in metaphase, these all chromatin fibers are going to get completely condensed and will form a typical chromosomal structure, right? The packaging of chromatin at higher level requires additional set of proteins that collectively are referred to as NHC, that is non-histone chromosomal proteins. So along with the histone proteins, there is also requirement of non-chromosomal histone proteins. Yes, right, beta. So it's going to be what? It's going to be non-chromosomal histone proteins also going to be present. They are also going to be present in this packaging. So histone proteins की भी जरूरत होती है, non-histone chromosomal proteins की भी जरूरत होती है. ठीक है? In a typical nucleus, some region of chromatin are loosely packed, which stains light, and are referred to as euchromatin. The other, which is densely packed, is going to be referred to as heterochromatin. Euchromatin is said to be transcriptionally active chromatin, while heterochromatin is considered as inactive. So ये point भी मैंने आपको cell unit of life में पढ़ाया था, but still I'm repeating that. So here you can see this is euchromatin. Can you see how loose arrangement it is? And this is heterochromatin. So it's a very tight arrangement, tightly bound. So heterochromatin जो है ना, इसको हम कहते हैं transcriptionally inactive. Now what do you mean by that word transcriptionally inactive? Transcription is a process. Transcription is a process where the DNA strand is copied onto RNA. DNA strand is copied onto RNA. अब RNA को उधर कॉपी करने के लिए, जाने के लिए स्पेस तो चाहिए कि नहीं? ऐसे इतने टाइट सिचुएशन में क्या ही अंदर जाएंगे और क्या ही कॉपी करेंगे ये डीएनए को? पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. लेकिन ये देखो, ये लूज एरियाज है डीएनए के, तो इधर जाके आरएनए कॉपी कर सकता है. इधर जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है, इट कैन बी इजीली कॉपीड बाय द आरएनए. Therefore, the places where RNA can enter and copy the DNA are called as transcriptionally active. And the places where RNA cannot enter inside and cannot copy the DNA is going to be called as inactive. So the heterochromatin area is a tightly packed, compactly packed DNA structure wherein the RNA cannot enter and copy the DNA strand of that zone. But here if you see, यहाँ से देखेंगे ना बेटा, ये देखो यहाँ से अगर देखेंगे तो इधर जाके कॉपिंग होता है, इधर कॉपिंग होता है, तो जहाँ जहाँ कॉपिंग पॉसिबल है दैट इज यूक्रोमैटिन. करेक्ट. हाँ. The DNA, what wasn't it? Huh. Why does RNA need to enter? For protein synthesis. Unless and until RNA does not, enter se bhi zyada, is not formed on the DNA template, protein synthesis is not possible. So for carrying out the protein synthesis, RNA formation on the DNA is mandatory. Okay, it will be done by DNA only, no doubt about that. So it is DNA dependent RNA polymerase enzyme which is going to come on and do these particular things. No, no, no. Without transcription, protein synthesis is impossible, my dear. Without transcription, protein synthesis is impossible. So how is that going to take place? How is protein synthesis going to take place is also something that we're going to talk about. ठीक है, इधर तक समझ में आ गई कहानी? Anyone have got any doubt with anything that I have explained just now? किसी को है difficulty? If you've got any difficulty, please put in your chat box, बेटा. NHC are non-histone chromosomal proteins. So apart from the histone proteins, there are some non-histone proteins also, which are also equally important for packaging of DNA. Okay, that is called as NHC, non-histone chromosomal proteins. Additional set of proteins. Additional set of proteins which do not belong to histones. अब histone octamer आपने देखा कैसा था? Have you all observed H2A, H2B? देखा आपने कि नहीं देखा? Look at it. That is also very important. I'll show you the previous slide. ये देखो. H2A के दो. H2A, H2A. H2B, H2B. H3, H3. H4, H4. So here there is no H1. So H1 कहाँ गया? Where is the H1? So H1 is going to be, like a link, like a clip. Like a clip. Okay? तो वो क्या करेगा? वो छूट ना जाए. देखो, DNA स्ट्रैंड है अपना, सिर्फ स्ट्रैंड है. तो अगर यहाँ से खींचूंगी तो आगे आएगा, यहाँ से खींचूंगी तो पीछे जाएगा, है ना? सो इट शुड नॉट मूव लाइक दैट. तो H1 प्रोटीन क्या करता है? H1 हिस्टोन क्या करता है बेटा? H1 प्रोटीन है ना, उसको क्लिपिंग कर देता है. क्लिपिंग कर देता है मीन्स H1 प्रोटीन उसको लॉक कर देता है, so that there is no movement of the DNA. So H1 is all alone. So it is not coming under your octamer. Octamer के जो 8 हैं, who are the 8? H2A, H2A, H2B, H2B, H3, H3, H4, H4. ऐसे 8 है ना? Remember this. H1 is not a part of octamer. Okay. So that's about your euchromatin, heterochromatin tak. Now what happens? See, this is the way the actual process is going to be taking place. A very beautiful diagram over here. They have given very beautifully. Just pay attention to this one. Yeah. Look over here. This is the double-stranded DNA. You can see it's 2 nanometers. Okay, 2 nanometers. At the simplest level, chromatin is double-stranded helical structure. So here it's going to be, like normal double-stranded helical structure. DNA is complexed with histone to form a nucleosome. So here you can see, you can see this band. ये band आपको orange वाला दिख रहा है बेटा? That is H1. That is H1. Okay. तो ये जो purple color का है वो octamer. Look at the third one. Okay. So ये purple color का जो है ना, you can see this purple color inside. That is your histone octamer. And this orange or yellow or whatever beige color जो आपको बोलना है वो, that is going to be your H1. Now this is going to be your one nucleosome connected with another linker DNA and nucleosome, linker DNA and nucleosome. समझ में आ रहा है? So third point देखो, each nucleosome consists of 8 histone proteins around which DNA wraps 1.65 times. So we call it as 1 and 3/4 round. Okay. Chromatosome consists of a nucleosome plus the H1 protein. So here you can see these are like, along with the H1 protein, we call them as chromatosomes. Okay. Look at the fifth one. The nucleosome folds to produce a 30 nanometer fiber. So you can see how it has folded to form 30 nanometers fiber. Sixth one, देखो, this particular 30 nanometer fiber will form loops averaging to 300 nanometers in length. तो अभी ये है ना और सुपर कॉइल होते गए और ऐसे लूप्स बनते गए, राइट. सेवेंथ देखो, the 300 nanometer fibers are compressed and folded to produce a 250 nanometer wide fiber. ओके, तो ये और भी कॉम्पैक्शन में चला गया और ये देखो tight coiling of 250 nanometer fiber produces the chromatid of a chromosome. So in this way, this particular chromatid is going to be okay. Got this? So the size has been not reduced, but coiled and super coiled and super coiled from DNA to make up your chromosome. So actually speaking, chromosome is going to have what all things? Chromosome will have nothing but DNA, histone proteins, and non-histone chromosomal proteins. All these together will make up your chromosome. Correct? Got it? So this is what is very important. DNA histone, yeah. DNA is going to be coiled over histone. Chromatosome, octamer plus H1 protein along with the DNA fiber is chromatosome. Okay. Nucleosome means octamer and DNA. Chromatosome means octamer, DNA, and H1. Heterochromatin is a phase after transcription of your chromatin. No, beta. It's already there since the beginning only. And like when this coiling is taking place, at some areas the coiling will be very super coiled, and in some areas the coiling is not going to be tightly bound. So wherever that coiling is going to be super coiled now, that will be your heterochromatin. And wherever there is going to be a little space in between, that will be your euchromatin. So during packaging only, heterochromatin and euchromatin are going to be formed and decided. They cannot move there. They cannot move. They're going to remain like that way only forever. Okay. Yeah, you will have to remember the numbers. Yes. Yes. From how many nanometers to how many nanometers is important. Okay. You want me to give a recap? Simple. DNA replication takes place. DNA is going to be, a long thread of 2.2 nanometers, 2.2 meters long, which needs to be packaged inside the nucleus. The nucleus size is 10 raised to -6. So the DNA ka length is far more higher. So what happens? This DNA gets coiled. The DNA gets coiled over the histone octamers. So octamer of histone is going to be made up of H2A, H2B, H3, and H4 in duplicates. So it's called as octamer. So DNA is going to be bound around the octamer as 1 and 3/4. 1 and 3/4 coiling hoga, along with which it will be called as a nucleosome. The nucleosomes will be many in numbers depending upon the length of the DNA. That will be called as beads on string appearance. Now these beads on strings will further coil. They will further coil to form the chromatin. The chromatin at the time of cell replication will undergo condensation, which will make up the chromosomes. Okay. Chromosome has two types. Actually, chromosomes do not have two types. Chromosome के अंदर some area will be heterochromatin, some area will be euchromatin. Okay? क्रोमोसोम के अंदर कुछ एरिया है जिसको हम हेटेरो कहेंगे, कुछ एरिया है जो यू है. So it's a mixture of U and hetero. Got it? Understood? Any difficulty, my dears? Now you got it? Recap चाहिए था? You got it, beta? Clear now? सब कुछ टाइटली कॉइल हो गया तो फिर ट्रांसक्रिप्शन नहीं हो पाएगा बेटा. थोड़ी अब हमारे लिए दिखने के लिए वो टाइटली दिखता है, लेकिन अल्ट्रा माइक्रोस्कोपी में व्हेन यू लुक ऑन दी you know the image in the electron microscope, you can easily see a little area which is, you know, this particular diagram which is there ना, ये जो पहले वाला मैंने डायग्राम बताया था ना, ये वाला, ये देखो बेटा, दिस इज द सेम अपना क्रोमोसोम ही है, पर यू कैन सी इधर पे बहुत ज्यादा टाइटली कॉइलिंग है, यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा लूज कॉइलिंग है. So actually हमें दिखने के लिए it will appear as tight only, but when viewed under electron microscope, you can see a little bit of liberty given to the coiling. Somewhat there is ease of coiling. It's not very tightly bound in some areas. Okay, so this is how your same chromosome having some amount of, you know, and it could be alternate also. Hetero फिर U फिर hetero फिर U, ऐसे भी होता नहीं है. So sometimes it's going to be tight, sometimes it's going to be loose. Got it now? Okay, fine. So that's all with our DNA packaging. In fact, yeah. And we have completed with the first part of mol bio. This is the first part of mol bio. Okay, so we have to go ahead with the RNA world. But before I go ahead with the RNA world, I would like to ask you all if you have got any difficulty in this particular DNA part. Come on, first tell me that. Anyone having difficulty with the DNA part? Then we can go ahead with the RNA. बोलो बोलो. Okay, fine. So we can go ahead with the RNA, right? So just give me a minute. I'll open that file for RNA also. Okay. So हाँ, what's your doubt बेटा? हिस्टोन में सिर्फ हिस्टोन प्रोटीन होता है? हाँ, सिर्फ हिस्टोन प्रोटीन होता है हिस्टोन में. Yes. So we come to the RNA world now. RNA, so DNA has been completed entirely. So what all things have we seen in DNA? क्या क्या देखा है हमने DNA में? Come on, tell me. हाँ, व्हाट्स योर डाउट? आधा न्यूक्लियस में है और आधा कॉइल है. नहीं 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 नहीं, सब कुछ न्यूक्लियस में ही कॉइल है. डीएनए जितना भी है ना न्यूक्लियस में ही है बेटा. डीएनए बाहर नहीं है न्यूक्लियस के. इट्स कंप्लीटली विद इन द न्यूक्लियस ओनली. ओके. We have done packaging, we have done DNA replication, we have seen the structure of DNA, we have seen Chargaff's rule, we have seen how DNA is the genetic material. It was proven by so many experiments. Then we saw something called as nucleotide sequence kaise hota hai, what are the enzymes which are involved in the replication, right? So everything in detail we have studied about the DNA. And now we go ahead with RNA. Okay, so let's talk about RNA now. RNA was the first genetic material. तो DNA के पहले है ना, जो भी organism survive करते थे, उनमें RNA was the genetic material. Fine. There are evidences to suggest that essential life processes such as metabolism, translation, splicing, etc. evolves around the RNA world. Now, what is this translation? What is splicing? I'll tell you eventually. Okay. Translation is basically making of or translating the information of mRNA into proteins. Okay, that's called as translation. And what is splicing? Of course, आगे बताऊंगी जब वो आएगा तब. ठीक है? RNA used to act as genetic material as well as a catalyst. There are some important biochemical reactions in living systems that are catalyzed by RNA catalyst and not by protein enzymes. So आरएनए जो है ना बेटा, ये एक कैटलिस्ट के जैसा भी काम करता है. प्रोटीन्स तो we all know that protein is a catalyst. Enzymes, majority of the enzymes are, I'm saying, I'm repeating, majority of the enzymes are proteins. Till recent past हम लोग क्या कहते थे? All proteins are enzymes, but all enzymes नहीं. All enzymes are proteins, but all proteins are not enzymes is what we used to say, right? But now उस definition में change आ गई. Now we say majority of enzymes are proteins. The reason is even this RNA is going to act like an enzyme. And RNA is not a protein. RNA is a nucleic acid. In spite of being a nucleic acid, it's going to perform the function of an enzyme, a catalyst. ठीक है? So RNA जो है ये catalyst का भी काम करता है, enzyme का भी काम करता है, right? So therefore, RNA being a catalyst was reactive and hence unstable. एंजाइम देखिए बेटा, कोई भी एंजाइम देखिए, उसका सबस्ट्रेट आते ही अनस्टेबल हो जाती है, उसमें कॉन्फॉर्मेशनल चेंजेस हो जाते हैं. आई थिंक बायोमोलिक्यूल्स हैज ऑलरेडी बीन टॉट टू यू ऑल, एंड इन बायोमोलिक्यूल्स देयर आर टू मॉडल्स फॉर एंजाइम्स एंड सबस्ट्रेट का क्या कहते हैं interaction. What are the names of the two models? दो models है, पता है आपको? Biomolecules, enzymes and substrate. नहीं बेटा, no. Hairpin is for your RNA. मैं पूछ रही हूँ एंजाइम एंड सबस्ट्रेट्स का जो फिटिंग होता है एक दूसरे में परफेक्टली, उसके दो मॉडल्स बताए गए हैं. What is the name of those two models? Very close. Yeah, Parnavi, you're right. First answer is right. Which is the second one, beta? There's one more. ओए बच्चा लोग, बताओ, चलो आंसर्स दे दो मुझे फटाफट. ये बायोमोलिक्यूल्स चैप्टर का आंसर है. एंजाइम्स में आता है S plus E is equal to P वाला फॉर्मूला. Yes, CI is right. No, not polysaccharide. CI is right. Parnavi is right. Come on, others. यार ऐसे मत करो, मुझे टेंशन देते हो तुम लोग. अच्छा चलो, मैं आपको एक मैं बताती हूँ आपको, दूसरा आप लोग बताओगे. Polysaccharide rupees को नहीं, you're not understanding my question. My question is, every enzyme is going to be specific for a substrate. So the substrate and the enzyme का जो एक दूसरे में इंटरेक्शन होता है, उसके लिए दो मॉडल्स प्रपोज किए गए हैं. What is the name of those two models is my question. What is it, बेटा? नहीं, अरे haven't you all heard about lock and key? एंजाइम सबस्ट्रेट लॉक एंड की मॉडल सर ने पढ़ाया होगा यार, ऐसे मत करो पक्का. है ना, लॉक एंड की मॉडल। चलो मैंने एक आंसर मैंने दिया लॉक एंड की, दूसरा वाला बोलो विच इज द सेकेंड वन, विच इज, हाँ वेरी गुड अशिता, यू आर राइट, द सेकेंड वन इज मोर एक्सेप्टेड। लॉक एंड की मॉडल से भी ज्यादा अभी ये सेकेंड वाला जो है ये एक्सेप्टेड है। वेरी गुड हिमांशु, वेरी गुड, यस अशिता एंड हिमांशु हैव गिवन द करेक्ट आंसर, कम ऑन अदर्स। Very good, Viva. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Ishita. Very nice. So some answers are coming up now from your end. Good. It's called as induced fit model. है ना? तो एक है lock and key and the second one is induced fit. So what happens in induced fit and what happens in lock and key? Come on, I'm not going to teach you biomolecules again and the enzyme part again. But still, in induced fit model, it's being said that the substrate का जैसा conformation रहेगा ना, accordingly there is going to be a conformational change at the active site of the enzyme. I hope you all know what is active site, right? So there's going to be a conformational change at the active site of the enzyme for perfectly fitting the substrate into the enzyme and undergoing a reaction. So who is going a conformational change? Who is undergoing what we say deviation from the original shape? It's going to be the enzyme. Why can enzyme do this? Why can enzyme do this? Because enzyme is a catalyst, it's highly reactive. It can easily undergo conformational changes and again come back to the normal position and shapes. Okay, so the RNA is going to act like a catalyst. So don't you think being a catalyst, its inherent property is to keep on, changing, altering its conformation? And therefore it is highly reactive. And we had seen in DNA that the nucleic acid has to be always stable. The genetic material has to be always stable. So with respect to the stability, RNA was not at all stable. RNA was highly reactive, right? So they are saying, therefore, DNA has evolved from RNA with chemical modification that makes it more stable. So we know what is that chemical modification. RNA और DNA में क्या फर्क हो गया बेटा? बताओगे मुझे? मैंने आपको फर्स्ट लेक्चर में बताया था आरएनए एंड डीएनए में क्या डिफरेंस होता है. So what are the two things that have changed from RNA to make it DNA? Come on. Very good, Sneha. Very good. Very good answer. So ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar में कौन से कार्बन पे? Yes, yes, Shruti, you're right, beta. लेकिन from which carbon the oxygen is removed? You all remember? I told you all about 1 prime, 2 prime, 3 prime, 4 prime, 5 prime. Very good, Sneha. Very good. No, but it's not 3 prime. It is 2 prime. 3 prime के साथ the next nucleotide will join. So 5 prime to 3 prime जो अपना है ना DNA, तो 5 prime पे phosphate है, 3 prime पे OH है. So OH है deoxyribose में. 2 prime के यहाँ से ऑक्सीजन निकल गया. इट्स नॉट 3 प्राइम से नहीं जाता है, 2 प्राइम से जाता है. 3 प्राइम से नेक्स्ट शुगर के साथ बॉन्डिंग करता है टू फॉर्म फॉस्फोडाइएस्टर लिंकेज. ओके, so it's going to be the 2 prime end. So what has happened, what evolution has taken place, that from the ribose sugar at the 2 prime position the oxygen has been removed. And the second change, can you all tell me the second change? What could be the second change? Just think from your purine and pyrimidine का combinations. मैंने hint दिया, आप बताओ. Excellent. Yes, Parnavi, you're right. You're right. You're right. Purine pyrimidine का combination. Come on, इतना बड़ा hint दिया है मैंने. Give the answers. Very good, Sneha Singh. Very good, Sneha Singh. हाँ, deoxy तो है. वही तो एक ऑक्सीजन निकल गया from the 2 prime position, so it has become deoxy. But with respect to the purine pyrimidine, what do you all think? Very good, Preksha. Very good, my dear. बिल्कुल सही आंसर, बिल्कुल सही आंसर. Hydrogen bonds are formed, yeah, even there they would be forming. Correct answer by all of you all, Parnavi, Sneha, Preksha, all of you all have given me the right answer. That is uracil is going to be removed and thymine is going to be introduced in DNA, है ना? तो थाइमीन आ गया यूरासिल की जगह पर, तो दो चेंजेस हो गए बेटा. तो ये जो है ना, डीएनए हैज इवॉल्व्ड फ्रॉम आरएनए विद केमिकल मॉडिफिकेशन. सो देयर आर टू केमिकल मॉडिफिकेशन. द फर्स्ट केमिकल मॉडिफिकेशन इज रिमूवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन फ्रॉम द 2' end of the ribose sugar to make it deoxyribose, and the second change is presence of thymine instead of uracil. Agreed? Have you all understood what I'm trying to tell you? है कोई डिफिकल्टी? DNA being double stranded and having complementary strands further resist changes by evolving a process of repair. So these DNA strands are in pairs, right? ATGC, ATGC का pairing है, तो है ना, उनमें है ना ज्यादा changes होने का scope ही नहीं है. म्यूटेशंस होने का ज्यादा स्कोप नहीं है. कहाँ हो सकता है म्यूटेशन? ओनली व्हाइल इट्स रेप्लिकेटिंग. व्हेन इट बिकम्स सिंगल स्ट्रैंडेड, then there is a chance of undergoing mutation. But we have also seen the repair mechanism which is going to be carried out by your DNA pol 1. You all remember DNA pol 3, DNA pol 2, DNA pol 1 हमने किया था, है ना? So the DNA pol 1 is going to go for proofreading. It will check if there is any mismatch and it will try to rectify it as well. Correct? Right? Yeah. RNA is adapter, structural molecule, and in some cases, it is also a catalytic molecule. So it's going to be acting like an adapter molecule, which will be a connector. Adapter मतलब जैसे अपने adapters होते हैं ना, वैसे ही adapter molecule है वो, जो use होगा for protein synthesis. It's structural molecule also. It has got a peculiar structure as well, and in some cases, it's going to be acting like an enzyme that is going to have a catalytic function. Okay, thus RNA is a better material for transmission of information rather than acting as a generic material. So RNA is going to be taking care of the transmission of the information from DNA to RNA, RNA to polypeptide, polypeptide to protein. ठीक है? आरएनए वर्ल्ड का ये वाला जो बताया है मैंने, वो समझ में आ गया? किसी को है डाउट, डिफिकल्टी इस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट में? Anyone having any problems with this? Tell me. आगे जाऊं? So now let us see the structure of RNA, which we have already seen, but still, because we are talking specifically about RNA, structure of RNA is fundamentally the same as DNA, but there are some differences. The differences are as follows. First, in place of deoxyribose sugar of DNA, there is going to be presence of ribose sugar in RNA. In place of nitrogen-based thymine present in DNA, there is going to be nitrogen-based uracil in RNA. RNA is made up of only one polypeptide chain, a polynucleotide chain with, that is RNA is single stranded. Exception here, RNA found in reoviruses is double stranded. That is, it has got two polynucleotide chain. अब ये जो है ना बेटा, exception जो है ना वो books में नहीं है, and questions बहुत बार आते हैं. Double stranded RNA is found in, so the answer is going to be reoviruses. ओके हाँ, प्रोटीन के अंदर कौन सा इन्फो चाहिए, कौन सा प्रोटीन बनाने का है वो इन्फो चाहिए, नहीं तो हमारे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स डिफाइंड ही नहीं होंगे. वी आर अ रिजल्ट ऑफ प्रोटीन्स, वी आर प्योरली रिजल्ट्स ऑफ प्रोटीन्स. ओके, आई टेल यू हाउ इट वर्क्स एंड हाउ द थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू बी कैरिड आउट. Look at the difference between DNA and RNA, very beautifully given in this particular chart. Here's my cursor. मिला, ये देखो, ये डीएनए है, ये अपना आरएनए है. Here you can see very clearly. Look at this. This is your oxygen removed. Your oxygen is present, right? Your adenine, guanine, cytosine. In case of DNA, it's going to be thymine. but in case of RNA, it would be uracil, right? If RNA is single-stranded, then how are the bases paired? They are not paired. RNA में pairing बहुत rare है, बहुत ही rare है ये. See, this is single-stranded. ये ऐसे है. ये जो है ना, ये single nucleotides है. There is no pairing like this way. So pairing is very, very rare in case of RNA. It may take place only at some places where there is complementarity. The entire RNA molecule will never form double strand. Exception, as they have said, exception is going to be your reovirus. Okay. It's a mutation that has occurred for getting stability. To get stability, this particular mutation, this particular evolution has taken place. Okay, so that it becomes more stable and not highly reactive. Okay, so let us see the types of RNA. The first is the genetic RNA or genomic RNA. In absence of DNA, sometimes RNA working as a genetic material and genomic RNA transfer information from one generation to the next. Example, reovirus, tobacco mosaic virus, and QB bacteriophages. They are going to have genetic RNA, but reovirus is specifically double-stranded, while TMV and QB are going to be single-stranded, but they may act as genetic material. Okay. Non-genetic RNA are of three types: rRNA, tRNA, and mRNA. rRNA is ribosomal RNA, tRNA is transfer RNA, and mRNA is messenger RNA. The structures of them, beta. ये structure linear समझते हो? Can you understand what is linear? Linear मतलब in a line, in a row. तो ये mRNA हमेशा linear molecule होता है. ये है ribosomal RNA. This is ribosomal RNA. So this is the larger subunit. This is the smaller subunit of ribosomes. And this RNA will be always present inside this ribosome. So we call them as ribosomal RNA. And this is transfer RNA or tRNA. Of course, I'll show the detailed structure of tRNA. We have to go ahead with the detailed structures of tRNA right now only, so that we have to learn precisely. तो वो मैं बताऊंगी, लेकिन ये एक brief structures है rRNA, mRNA and tRNA. ठीक है? Okay. First, we talk about the ribosomal RNA or the rRNA. This is the most important because it's going to be, like almost 80% of the cells, total RNA is going to be rRNA. 80% rRNA. Okay? It is found in ribosomes and it is produced in the nucleolus. This also in cell cycle I had already explained that nucleolus is the site of ribosome synthesis. And ribosomes are the sites of protein synthesis. ये मैंने तभी भी आपको बताया था cell unit के time पे. It is the most stable form of RNA. There are present ATS type of ribosomes in eukaryotic cell, which we know. Their subunits are 60S and 40S. In 60S subunit of ribosome, there are three types of rRNA: 5S, 5.8S, and 28S. This is, we are talking about the eukaryotic cell. In the same way, 40S subunit ribosome has only one type of rRNA, that is 18S. So smaller subunit में 18S, larger subunit में 5, 5.8 and 28S. Please remember these figures. These are frequently going to be asked in your examinations. Smaller subunit of ribosome, 18S. Larger subunit of ribosome, 5, 5.8 and 20S in eukaryotes. Okay? So, ATS ribosomes has total 4 types of RNA. Prokaryotic cells have 70S type of ribosome and its subunits are 50S and 30S. 50S subunit of ribosome has 2 molecules of rRNA, 5S and 23S. 5 and 23. 30S subunit has only one, that is 16S type of rRNA. So 70S RNA has total 3 types of RNA. So these things I have already explained in cell unit of life. So again, I'm not going into the details, but still, if you all want, if anyone has not understood or are confused, you all can ask me. I'll explain it again. Or you all are okay with it? Are you all okay with this, or you want me to explain? Recap. 70 and 50 नहीं बच्चा. 70 70 करके नहीं, 70 नहीं होता है. 60 40 50 30. Okay, I'll show you. So this I'm making over here. Okay. And I'm making a new one over here with a different color. तो आपको साइज से ही पता चलेगा कि ये ब्लू वाला जो है वो प्रोकैरियोटिक का है और जो रेड वाला है वो यूकैरियोटिक का है. करेक्ट, राइट? सो पीपीटी का स्लाइड नहीं, मैं व्हाइट बोर्ड शेयर कर रही हूँ आपके साथ. व्हाइट बोर्ड नहीं दिखाई दे रहा आपको? अरे अच्छा हुआ बताया, क्योंकि मैंने वहां पर डायग्राम वायग्राम बना के रखे थे. Good that you all told me. Now can you all see? हाँ. So see over here बेटा, ये जो है, this is going to be your smaller subunit, that is 30S, right? This is going to be your larger subunit, which is going to be your 50S, correct? So these two make up what? 70S, correct? Look at this one. This is going to be 40S. This is going to be 60S. 60 plus 40 makes up, correct? Now, in this particular one, in this one, which is the ribosome which is going to be found. So the 30S subunit will have 16S rRNA. कौन सा रहेगा इसके अंदर बेटा? 16S rRNA. 50S में कौन रहता है? So we have got 5S rRNA and we have got 23S rRNA. Okay. On the other hand, 40S में कौन है? Who will be there in 40S? So 40S is going to have 18S rRNA, right? And 60S will have 5S plus it will have 5 0.8s plus it's going to have 28s for this. समझा? अब clear है? Anyone having still difficulty, please copy down these diagrams. ये diagrams को copy कर लो बेटा. Yeah, kindly copy down these diagrams. So I don't want any confusions. मैंने आपको इनफैक्ट प्रोटीन्स भी बताया था अगर आपको याद है तो. And made the similar diagrams and I had drawn about the or I had written about the proteins as well if you can recollect. Do you all recollect how many proteins are going to be there in the smaller and larger subunit of 70s and in the smaller and larger subunit of 80s? है किसी को याद? I told you all वो बहुत important है. They ask you several times. No. Very good, Shruti. You're right. कॉपी तो करो. याद आया कुछ कि नहीं? भूल गए? Okay, fine. Please copy down these things. I know you have drawn this diagram, but you all are not answering the question. So again, I had to make this diagram one more time for all of you. Okay, fine. So have you all done? Can I move ahead? So, yeah. You remember after looking at the diagram, na? That's what. Okay, but fine. So this is what has been mentioned over here, which I've put up in the bolas. Okay. Function. At the time of protein synthesis, rRNA provides attachment site to the tRNA and mRNA and attaches them to the ribosome. So basically, all these three RNAs are some or the other way associated with protein synthesis. Okay. So by this method or that method, protein synthesis के लिए काम में आ रहे हैं, वो तो हमें पता है. लेकिन ये जो RNA है, वो राइबोसोम के अंदर है. तो राइबोसोम is going to be called as what? It's going to be called as your protein factory. Ribosome is called as your protein factory. So this particular protein factory is going to have the site for attachment of the mRNA also, and it is also going to have the site for attachment of the tRNA also. So in this way, mRNA and tRNA coordinate within the ribosome, which is called as your ribosomal factory, which is going to contain rRNA and proteins. Okay? The bond formed between them are known as salt linkages. This word is not given anywhere in your books. And this is an important point to be remembered. What are salt linkages? So nothing but the bonds which are going to be formed between the mRNA with rRNA and tRNA also with rRNA is called as salt linkages. It attaches tRNA to the larger subunit on the ribosome and mRNA to the smaller subunit of the ribosome. So we saw just now the diagram of ribosome. So we had smaller and larger subunits. So the smaller subunit will get attached with the mRNA and the larger subunit will provide the site for attachment of the tRNA. How it gets attached? आगे जाना ही है, देखना ही है हमें. That's all with your rRNA. It's most important. Followed by tRNA. tRNA also called as transfer RNA or it's also called as soluble RNA. sRNA भी कहते हैं उसको. So don't forget the name soluble RNA or sRNA. So it is 10 to 15% of total RNA. It is synthesized in the nucleus by DNA. So let it be tRNA, let it be mRNA, whatever it is, let it be rRNA. Everything will be synthesized by whom? The DNA. DNA is responsible for synthesis of all the three types of rRNAs. ठीक है, कैसे बताऊंगी. It is also called as soluble RNA or sRNA. It is also known as adapter RNA. It is the smallest RNA of the three. It's only 4s. Look at the size. Just now we saw na 16s, 5s, 5.8s, 18s, 28s. ये देखो 4s सबसे छोटू है ये, right? Function at the time of protein synthesis, it acts as a carrier of amino acids. So when protein synthesis is going to be taught to you all, you will come to know that how it is going to carry the amino acids on it. अपने शोल्डर पे जैसे हम हमारी बैग लटका कर चलते हैं ना, वैसे ये टीआरएनए अमीनो एसिड को कंधे पे लटका के चलता है बेटा. So how is that going to happen? I'll explain, of course. Right? Discovery: tRNA was discovered by Hoagland and Zemeckis and Stephenson. Okay, so you can just remember Hoagland's name. That's enough. They generally ask you Hoagland ka naam. You can look over here at the structure of tRNA. It's a loop structure. In this particular tRNA, this is going to be one end. This is going to be one end, which is going to have. This is going to be, you know, though it is seen as ACC, it is read as CCA. You know why? Because this is the 3' end. This is the 5' end. तो हमेशा रीडिंग 5' to 3' होता है बेटा. तो यहाँ से ऐसे रीडिंग होगा, ऐसे इसका रीडिंग होगा, तो ये एंड में आएगा. सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी रेड एज CCA. So always remember the 3' end of tRNA will always have cytosine, and adenine. CCA का मतलब क्या है? Cytosine, and adenine. ठीक है. On the other hand, यहाँ पर जो है ना, यहाँ पर ये जो 5' end है ना, यहाँ पर है ना एक 7 methyl guanosine, 7 base pairs यहाँ पर दिखाई दे रहे हैं. So these 7 base pairs will be having methyl guanosine at the 5' end. I have given it ahead, don't worry. So 5' end पे 7 methyl guanosine है, 3' end पे CCA है. This has to be remembered. Then there are loops. There is something called as DHU loops, dihydroxyuridine group. आगे है. Don't worry. I'm just explaining the diagram. Here is going to be 3 to 4 bases. This is going to be your pyrimidines. This is going to be your anticodon. This is going to be your anticodon helix. This is a variable arm. इसका function अभी तक क्या है पता नहीं चला है. What is the function of this extra variable arm? No one has understood till today. This is the T-Cy-C loop. This is the T-Cy-C loop over here. Okay, and here it's going to be your 3' end with CC. So what are the functions of these and what is this model called as? So this model is called as clover leaf model. क्या कहते हैं इसको हम? Clover leaf model. आगे है बताऊंगी मैं. ये देखो. Assign this name Holle. Presented clover leaf model of the structure of tRNA. In 2-dimensional structure, the tRNA appears like a clover leaf. but in three-dimensional structure, which was given by Kim, it appears like an inverted L-shaped structure. L के जैसा दिखता है वो, 3 dimensions में. 2 dimension में clover leaf के जैसे दिखता है. The molecule of tRNA is of single strand. There are present 3 nucleotides in a particular sequence at the 3' end of tRNA, and the sequence is 3 CCA, which I told you all just now. What is CCA? Correct? All at the 5' end, that is, the lasts are having guanine, that is guanosine as we call it. 5-methyl guanosine कहते हैं हम लोग इसको, या guanine कहते हैं. 3' end is also known as the adapter end. Why it is known as adapter end, you know? Because see, the tRNA accepts amino acid at the acceptor points. Amino acid binds to the 3' end by its COOH group. अमीनो एसिड में COOH होता है, ये आपको पता है. All acids are going to have COOH, that you know. So the COOH group of every amino acid will get attached with the CCA end at the 3' end of your tRNA. समझ में आया कैसे हुआ? तो जहां पर CCA है उधर अमीनो एसिड आके चिपक जाता है, बॉन्ड्स बनाता है वहां पर. कौन सा अमीनो एसिड? सारे अमीनो एसिड्स. कैसे वहां पर चिपकते हैं? विद द हेल्प ऑफ द COOH group. Is it okay? So now you can imagine that this is your tRNA having CCA. This is going to be the amino acid which is going to come and attached at the CCA, that is 3' end of the tRNA. क्यों अटैच करना है इसको? क्यों अटैच करना है? ताकि वो पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन बना सके. तो अटैच करके क्या होगा? अटैच करके the tRNA from the cytoplasm carrying the amino acid on its CCA arm is going to move into the protein factory. So it's going to move into the ribosome factory. Okay, तो राइबोसोम का डोर नॉक करेगा वो. कौन करेगा वो देखना है हमें. Who is the one who will knock the doors of the ribosome कि भाई मुझे अंदर ले ले. Okay, so who is the one who is going to knock? So there are the loops that we saw. We have got T-Cyc loop, we have got the DHU loop, we have got the anticodon loop. Who is going to knock the door of the ribosome? Let us see. Okay, so see. The molecule of tRNA is folded, and due to folding, there is going to be some complementarity present between the nitrogenous bases, which come across with each other to form the hydrogen bonds. तो यहाँ पर आपने देखा बेटा, ये जो है ना, ये वाला डायग्राम, ये वाला, ये देखो, ये these are your A, U, G, C के ये bonds है, हाइड्रोजन bonds है ये. So जहाँ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री पेयरिंग है वहां पर डबल स्ट्रैंडेड बनता है, जहां पर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री पेयरिंग नहीं है वहां पर सिंगल स्ट्रैंडेड रहता है. ओके, yes. There are some places where hydrogen bonds are not formed. These places are known as loop. There are some abnormal nitrogenous bases in the loop. That is why hydrogen bonds are not going to be formed. Example, inosine, pseudouracil, dihydroxyuridine. ओके, ये जो सारे हैं ना, ये अनयूजुअल बेसिस है. अगर अपना नॉर्मल यूरासिल होता था तो ए के साथ पेयरिंग कर लेता था, लेकिन डाइहाइड्रोक्सीयूरिडिन है, इट विल नॉट पेयर विद एनीवन. इट इज सूडोयूरासिल. अगेन, हाउ कैन सूडोयूरासिल पेयर विद एडेनिन? ओके, सो दैट इज व्हाई दीस फ्यू बेसिस ना, दे आर हटके, जो किसी के साथ पेयर कर नहीं सकते. Therefore, these loops are going to be single-stranded areas. T-Cyc loop or attachment loop. This loop connects tRNA to the larger subunit of ribosome. So ये जो T-Cyc loop हमने देखा था बेटा, उसका फंक्शन क्या है? To connect the tRNA with the larger subunit of ribosome. Okay, recognition loop. This is the most specific loop of the tRNA, and different types of tRNA are different due to this particular loop. Okay, तो ये जो recognition loop होता है ना, वो यूनिक है. जैसा अपना हर एक का एक फिंगरप्रिंट यूनिक है, वैसे ये recognition loop हर एक tRNA का यूनिक है. Fine. There is a specific sequence of 3 nucleotides called as anticodon, which is present at the end of this recognition loop. So that anticodon का जो एरिया है, ओके, एंटीकोडॉन का जो एरिया है उस लूप को हम कहते हैं recognition loop. Fine. On the basis of anticodon, there are 61 types of tRNAs, or we can also say that there are 61 types of anticodons. So जितने एंटीकोडॉन्स हैं उतने टीआरएनए हैं, या फिर जितने एंटीकोडॉन्स हैं उतने ही ये है रिकॉग्निशन साइट्स है. ओके, tRNA recognizes its place on mRNA with the help of anticodon. तो देखो बेटा, mRNA will have codon, tRNA will have anticodon. See, if you shake hands with someone, how it should be? शेक हैंड कैसे करते हो? आपका राइट सामने वाले का लेफ्ट होता है क्या? व्हेन यू शेक हैंड, आपने अगर राइट हैंड आगे किया तो सामने वाले का लेफ्ट हैंड आगे होगा कि राइट हैंड ही आगे होगा फॉर द ग्रिप? कम ऑन, टेल मी. कभी किसी को शेक हैंड किया है कि नहीं किया है? हाँ, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम आस्किंग. अभी हमारा लाइव मतलब ऑफलाइन लेक्चर नहीं है, नहीं तो मैं आपको शेक हैंड करके देती थी, बताती थी कैसे होता है. ऐसे बताना पड़ेगा क्या? You all know this. So if I'm going to put my right hand आगे, you will also put your right hand आगे ना, so that we can shake hands and have a grip. What do you think? Exactly. So codon and anticodon should have grip with each other. They should form hydrogen bonds with each other. So अगर mRNA पे सीक्वेंस है GGG, तो एंटीकोडॉन पे सीक्वेंस होना चाहिए CCC. Do you understand? Only then GC के बॉन्ड्स बनेंगे. करेक्ट. अगर mRNA पे सीक्वेंस है AAA, तो एंटीकोडॉन पे क्या सीक्वेंस आना चाहिए बताइए बेटा, टेल मी. mRNA पे है AAA, so what should be the sequence on the anticodon? A will pair with whom? Come on. This is your RNA. Very good, Devang. Excellent answer. Very nice, Sia. Come on, others. Such a simple thing I'm asking. ठीक कैसे होगा भाई? This is not DNA. This is RNA. So अगर AAA है mRNA पे तो tRNA पे very good Parnavi. It's going to be U. Okay. चलो one more. अगर mRNA पे सीक्वेंस है GCU, तो एंटीकोडॉन का क्या सीक्वेंस होना चाहिए? वेरी गुड पर्णवी, वेरी गुड सिया, यस देवांग, वेरी गुड सोनाली. Yes, so this is what is very crucial for us to understand. Codon and anticodon should have complementary bases. Correct? Now my question, similar, thoda sa twisted. Come on, I want all of you all to answer this question, my dears. एंटीकोडॉन पे है UAC, तो कोडॉन पे क्या होगा? एंटीकोडॉन इज UAC. व्हाट वुड बी कोडॉन? कम ऑन. वेरी गुड सिया. यस देवांग, यू आर राइट. सोनाली इज राइट. Parnavi, you're right. So you understood, my dears, what is anticodon and what is codon? So codon किसको कहते हैं? AUG बच्चा, AUG. मैंने UAC बोला, so U will pair with A, C will pair with G. Correct? Yeah, like that. Okay. So what is codon and what is anticodon? Now you understood what is anticodon. In fact, कोडॉन के अपोजिट होता है एंटीकोडॉन. अपोजिट मतलब कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एज वी से. बट व्हाट इज कोडॉन देन? कोडॉन ही नहीं पता है तो हम लोग एंटीकोडॉन की कहानी कहां से चालू करें? तो कोडॉन इज नथिंग बेटा. कोडॉन इज अ ट्रिपलेट न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंस प्रेजेंट ऑन mRNA. ट्रिपलेट न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंस. You know what are nucleotides? Just now I said U, AAA, GGG, UAC. ये जब हम ट्रिपलेट्स में रीड करते हैं ना, थ्रीज में रीड करते हैं ना, तो वो ट्रिपलेट न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स को हम कहते हैं वन कोडॉन. सो व्हाट इज वन कोडॉन? वन कोडॉन इज अ ट्रिपलेट ऑफ न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स. An anticodon is complementary of the codons. नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. तो mRNA पे जो सीक्वेंस है ना बेटा, वो हमेशा ट्रिपलेट में रीड किया जाता है, क्योंकि एंटीकोडॉन ट्रिपलेट है, एंटीकोडॉन ट्रिपलेट है, इसलिए है ना कोडॉन भी ट्रिपलेट में ही रीड किया जाता है. तो अगर mRNA के ऊपर ए सीक्वेंस है, तो साइटोप्लाज्म में जो tRNA है which is having the anticodon U will come and sit on the AAA site of mRNA. This is called as translation, जो आगे हमें पढ़ना ही है. But rough idea आ गया आपको what is codon, what is anticodon. Did you all understand this? Little bit? थोड़ा थोड़ा? Don't worry, पूरा समझेगा. Okay, so that is what is your anticodon loop. So the anticodon of tRNA recognizes the complementary sequences present on the mRNA, and this complementary sequence is called as codon, which is always read as a triplet codon. Triplets में read करते हैं. The third is going to be your DHU loop. It is also known as amino acyl synthetase recognition loop. नाम बड़ा है लेकिन काम बहुत ही बड़ा है. Amino acyl synthetase. Okay. Amino acyl synthetase is a specific type of enzyme. और जब तक ये एंजाइम नहीं बनेगी तब तक आगे का प्रोसेस जो है वो ठप पड़ा रहेगा, कुछ नहीं बढ़ेगा आगे. So this is a very important enzyme that needs to be synthesized, that is amino acyl. What is the function of this enzyme? See, the function of this enzyme is to activate a specific type of amino acid. Okay. After activation, this enzyme attaches the amino acid to the 3' end of your tRNA, which is having CCA. Correct? There are 20 types of 20 enzymes for 20 types of amino acids. So we already know that there are 20 amino acids. So for 20 amino acids, there are 20 enzymes. Okay? The function of DHU loop is to recognize the specific amino acyl synthetase enzyme. Okay? तो जब तक ये एंजाइम नहीं बनेगी ना, तब तक राइट टाइप ऑफ अमीनो एसिड पहचान ही नहीं सकेंगे हम लोग मतलब हमारी सेल. तो ये क्या झमेला है ये बताती हूँ. चलो क्लियर करती हूँ झमेले. जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. यू हैव प्लेड द जिगसॉ पजल. बचपन में आपने जिगसॉ पजल खेले हैं, जहाँ पर वो ऐसे टेढ़े मेढ़े शेप्स होते हैं, उनको आपको फिट कराकर वो पिक्चर बनाना होता है. हैव यू ऑल प्लेड दैट? वेरी गुड. ना वो पूरा पिक्चर दिखा देते हैं हम, उसको तोड़ मोड़ के उसके स्पेयर पार्ट्स कर देते हैं. राइट? Now, what is an important point? What is an important point in the jigsaw puzzle is to recognize the shape of that particular block, pick up that correct type of block and fit it. बराबर? Shape vary हो गया तो उसमें fit ही नहीं होगा. So what are the important steps beta? The first important step is you should have all the spare parts with you. एक भी पीस गायब हो गया तो पिक्चर पूरा नहीं बनेगा, है ना? So what is the prerequisite? The first prerequisite is going to be what? You should have all the pieces with you, all the different types of pieces with you. Second क्या है? You have to recognize the correct piece to fit in that particular picture. Recognition बहुत important है. What is the third thing beta? You have to actually pick up that particular piece and place it ना. आपने सिर्फ देखा हाँ ये इधर फिट होने वाला है, लेकिन आप उठा नहीं पाए, तो what is the use of it? So there are 3 steps which are important. The first step is what? You should have the raw material. Second step is you should recognize the correct type of raw material. And third thing is you have to bring that raw material in place to make a complete picture. Do you agree to this? ये कहानी समझिए आपको. Forget about all these things. ये बात समझ में आ गई आपको? Is it simple now to understand? Same principle applies over here. Same principle applies over here. The raw material is nothing but the amino acids. कहाँ से आए amino acids? जो हमने खाना खाया है उसका breakdown होके catabolism होके amino acids बने. So in our cytoplasm there is going to be a pool of amino acids. Agreed? Agreed. Second point क्या है? To recognize the correct type of amino acid to come and fit into this particular jigsaw puzzle. Who is going to do this? This will be done by the DHU loop of the tRNA, who is going to synthesize amino acyl enzyme. So with the help of this DHU loop, the selection of the correct type of amino acid will be done, right? तो जैसे बच्चे ने वो पिकअप किया राइट शेप, उसको क्या करना है, उसको इधर से उठाकर इधर चिपकाना है और या मतलब फिट कराना है. In the same way, now the tRNA has to move from the cytoplasm inside the ribosomes. What me? समझ में आ गया? तो अमीनो एसिड ने वो tRNA ने वो अमीनो एसिड उठाया, कहाँ उठाया? CCA ग्रुप के इधर उठा के चिपका लिया, तो अपने कंधे पे डाल दिया, समझ लो. अब उसको उठा के वो कहाँ जा रहा है? It is going towards the ribosome factory, the protein factory. अब protein factory पहुंचने के बाद it is not allowed to enter inside. So उसको डोर को नॉक करना पड़ता है, भाई खोल दे, let me come in. So ये नॉक करने के बाद दरवाजा खोलना पड़ता है. So the knocking is done by the T-Cy-C loop of tRNA. Okay, so the T-Cy-C loop is now going to knock the doors. Come on, open the door. I want to come in. I want to come in. And then the larger subunit of ribosome will open up, allow this tRNA having the amino acid on its back to enter inside the ribosome factory, after which again the door will be closed. Did you all understand how important it is? अब उसके आगे क्या होता है वो ट्रांसलेशन प्रोसेस में मैं बताऊंगी ऑफ कोर्स, लेकिन ये बेसिक समझ में आ गया बेटा क्या होता है कोई डिफिकल्टी है ये समझना? इज इट क्लियर नाउ? दिस इज मोस्ट क्रूशियल पार्ट दैट आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग. प्लीज पे अटेंशन, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. So what is the role of DHU? What is the role of T-Cy-C? What is the role of anticodon? Everything okay? एंटीकोडॉन को ना नोडॉक भी कहते हैं, नोडॉक, NODOC. Urinary of DHU. DHU is nothing. It is going to synthesize the enzyme which will pick up the right type of amino acid. There are going to be 20 different amino acids present in our cytoplasm. So which is the right type of amino acid which needs to be picked up? Depending upon the shape, means depending upon the mRNA sequence, will be done by the DHU. Yes, tRNA picks up the amino acid. Yes, beta. tRNA picks up the amino acid. But the right type of amino acid, कौन सा amino acid pick up करना है, ये help करेगा amino acyl synthetase enzyme. और amino acyl synthetase को कैसे समझेगा? यही right type का है. That will depend upon the mRNA sequence. जो mRNA का sequence है, उसी का anticodon tRNA जिसके पास वो एंटीकोडॉन है वो एक्टिवेट हो जाएगा. फिर अमीनो असाइल सिंथेटेज बनेगा, उस अमीनो एसिड को उठाकर वो CCA पे डाल देगा, फिर वो पूरी असेंबली लेकर राइबोसोम के अंदर आ जाएगा. हाँ, yes Shruti, it's only to knock the doors of the ribosome factory. Let me in so that it can attach to the larger subunit of ribosome. Did you all understand? Very simple, in very simple language I have explained you all. Any doubts, any difficulties in this, Bacha? Anyone wants any point to be re-explained? Of course, this is just like briefing. Actual जो process है ना बहुत beautiful है, जो आगे आने ही वाला है. हाँ. Why is it allowed? I'll tell you why is it not allowed. I'll tell you, but in translation process we will come to that why it is not allowed. Okay, हाँ. अमीनो असाइल सिंथेटेज कुछ नहीं करता है, वो बस राइट टाइप ऑफ अमीनो एसिड को उठाकर tRNA के कंधे पर डाल देता है. ठीक है, ओके. अब ये राइट टाइप कौन सा है, रॉन्ग टाइप कौन सा है, ये तब समझेगा जब तुम्हें मैं अमीनो एसिड्स और tRNAs के एंटीकोडॉन के बारे में और डिटेलिंग करूंगी. फाइन, that I'll be doing it, of course, no doubts. But remember the functions of each and every loops of your tRNA, very important. mRNA or messenger RNA, it's only going to be 1 to 5% of the cell's total RNA. Discovery, mRNA was discovered by Huxley. Volkin and Astrachan. The name mRNA was given by Jacob and Monod. The mRNA is produced by the genetic DNA in the nucleus. This process is called as transcription. So the process of forming your mRNA, rather any type of RNA, I would say, is will be called as transcription. Is it okay? So that's your mRNA, rRNA, and tRNA. All three types of RNAs. I won't start with the genetic code today because I need a continuation of genetic code and transcription together. So I'll do this on Thursday. Again, I'm requesting all of you all, do not remain absent on Thursday. बहुत क्रूशियल कंटेंट पढ़ाया जा रहा है. आज जिसने मिस किया है ना लेक्चर, उनको आगे का कोई कनेक्शन लगने वाला है नहीं, ये तो पक्का है ना. तो मजे ले लो एब्सेंट रह के, नो इश्यूज. हाँ, amino acyl synthetase depends on mRNA to pick the right one. To some extent, yes, to some extent. How is it, dependent, and exactly it is dependent on whom? Translation process में मैं आपको बताऊंगा. Okay, I'll definitely tell you. But you're partially correct. You're partially correct. हाँ. Only GTP. For your board examinations, only GTP पे focus करो. Don't even think about NCERT for your boards. Boards, exclusive GTP. Nothing else. कुछ बाहर से नहीं आता है, कुछ नहीं होता है, कुछ नहीं होता है, उधर के उधर ही घूमते रहते हैं. एंड लास्ट 5 years के पेपर सॉल्व करोगे तो यू विल गेट अबाउट 90 मार्क्स इन बायो. In transcription we make mRNA. Yes, the process of making mRNA is called as transcription. But before we go to transcription and translation, I need to explain what is the genetic code. Only then you will come to know what is transcription and translation. ठीक है, चलो. See you all, have a nice day, and on Thursday I'll continue with this particular topic at 10. Okay, bye.